At this point, the Duceys and Karl Rove will be the only ones left at Fox News. Donald Trump has once again looked to the Fox News green room to fill his government and is officially naming Jeanine Pirro as DC's interim U.S. attorney. Pirro is a co-host of Fox's The Five and a former judge and prosecutor. You'll recall she was named in Dominion's defamation suit against the network after she pushed baseless conspiracy theories about the 2020 election. Joining us now in our fifth seat at the table, CNN senior legal analyst Ellie Honig. Ellie, I think on the qualifications in terms of like she understands the law, we get that part. Yeah. But it seems that the pushing of the wild conspiracies around the election is a big red flag.
Well, that's just it. On paper, Jeanine Pirro is amply qualified for this job. She was a prosecutor for a long time. She was the elected DA of Westchester County. She was a judge. That's plenty for a U.S. attorney. The problem, though, is she's Jeanine Pirro. And I don't mean that because she's this loud, controversial, abrasive TV personality. I mean that because she was one of the leading proponents of the election fraud theory. She said it over and over. She came up with wild theories. And this is not just one of these sort of halfway election deniers who says, well, I don't think the way that the state legislatures passed the laws were good. She made up wacko theories about these voting machines were put together in Cuba and with Venezuela.
Let me just go ahead and play
it.
Please. We do have it, the montage. Let's play it.
Montage? That's French for clip.
There appears to be evidence of illegals voting, dead people voting, boxes being pulled out after people are told to leave. No reasonable observer being able to see any of the ballots.
The money creating it came out of Venezuela and Cuba. It is one huge, huge criminal conspiracy that should be investigated by military intelligence for
hopefully the Department of Justice, but who knows anymore. These are serious allegations, but the media has no interest in any of this.
Yeah, let me quote a Fox News executive producer who worked with Jeanine Pirro. He said she is, quote, rife with conspiracy theories and BS. And to me, this presents two problems for someone who's going to have a very important prosecutorial position. One, credibility. I mean, how is she espousing these things? She's stupid or liar, right? It's got to be one or the other. And then the second thing is independence, right? If this is a person who's willing to espouse these lies for Donald Trump, is she really going to have any independence?
One of the things when you talk about conspiracy theories, I don't think that gives it enough credit. This lawsuit was settled for $787 million. I mean, they set in a mediation room at Jams in Pennsylvania to settle this suit on a weekend for $700 million. So it's a little bit more than a conspiracy theory. However, I'm someone who will simply say that I think her level of independence is more of a demerit about her taking this job than even the lawsuit, because she has those credentials to be the United States attorney. I think she has to come in front of the United States Senate, and she's somebody I probably wouldn't vote for, but I would actually take with an open mind and ask her questions that go down the line of independence. I would say, are you able to, because you're one of 20 plus people that he's taken from Fox News. Are you able to separate what Donald Trump says from your daily task? I want to hear you say this. I want to get that down on paper. That matters to me more than her being a part of this lawsuit. And the reason I say that is because of the fact that, yes, you're talking about someone who actually, in her past career, one of the things that stood out about Judge Pirro, and I'm saying this live on TV, so she may not even be confirmed by her own colleagues, is that she actually cared about victims in crimes, particularly violent crimes. She was actually very, very good at that. She had a heartbeat for that. And so she has a history and a record of that. And so I would actually want to ask her some questions before I vote a yay or nay.
Well, I mean, independence is probably the opposite of what Trump wants in this job. That's why he wanted Ed Martin in the first place, who described himself as Trump's attorney in that interim post.
Ed Martin's not qualified to babysit.
Ed Martin, in a way, and I think this was good for Trump. I think it was good for Trump that some Republicans actually stood up for him, because you don't want Ed Martin in that position. And I think there's Republicans who probably today regret that in order to kowtow to Trump, they voted for a Pete Hegseth, right? And I just hope that all the senators scrutinize her and scrutinize anybody who comes up for a Senate-confirmed position very thoroughly. I'm rather surprised that she wants this job. It means that she's got to like lay herself naked, her financial stuff, her all sorts of things. She's got to answer. She's gonna, this is a job where she's going to make a pittance in comparison to what she's been making at Fox. She's not going to be able to have 3 martini lunches. I'm just kind of like surprised by this entire thing.
It's interesting. I talked to somebody today that knows her really well, and I said, "Hey, what's your read on this?" And they said, "Look, I think she misses going after criminals and going after horrible people that commit heinous crimes. And if you look at her history, back to what you were saying." This is a nice bookend to a career. And look, she does a great job. She's very entertaining. People obviously love listening to her, watch her, look at the ratings of her show. To walk away from all that and maybe go back and say, I've got a little work left to do in my career in what I really grew up doing, I kind of respect that. And I think some people to come after and say, oh, well, this or that or the other. Look at her body of work when she was an attorney and a judge, as a prosecutor, and could she do that job really well? I think the answer is yes, and I think that's what they should be asking her about, because no one's caring about the stuff in the political world you're talking about from back in the last election.
Well, I mean, look, I think it's relevant.
But
right?
the voters didn't care, is what I'm saying.
She's not being voted on.
But Donald Trump was, and Dominion, and
she's
it
not
was
being
such a
voted
big
on.
deal.
She's
and
being appointed. I think though that it's interesting.
I understand it, but my point is that on election night it didn't matter.
I think that it's interesting that she is going to be the interim U.S. attorney, because actually it'll give us some answers to some of these questions about what her priorities are going to be in that time.
She's not been nominated. She's just interim for right now, and this has a time limit, just like Martin's. And the president needed to make a move, right? Because if he didn't,
because Martin is out at the end.
Boasberg was going to get to pick, right? And so the decisiveness there, I think, was, and Martin didn't have the vote, so that was good. I agree with what you said. On paper, extremely qualified, probably more qualified than half the U.S. attorneys that Biden got around to nominating. And I agree with what you said. Her history on violent crimes, especially against the elderly abuse, there's a solid record there. And I agree with what you said, which is an interim period gives you a chance to see how someone's going to perform. So I actually think it's going to be okay, and we'll have a chance to find out.
All right, we got to go. Ellie Honig, thank you very much for joining us. Everyone else, stay with us. Coming up next, Anna had a big day today on The View. Joe Biden spent the hour at the table blaming racism and sexism for Kamala Harris's election